Welcome to the Oxford 4000 Essential English Words Podcast, episode 27. I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm Frank, your learning partner on this journey. Emma, it feels great to be back. How was your week?
It was wonderful, Frank. I spent some time in the countryside, just enjoying the quiet and fresh air. It really cleared my head.
That sounds amazing. I was stuck in the city, but I did manage to finish a fascinating book. So, what's on the menu for today's episode? What words are we unpacking?
I'm glad you asked. Today, we've got a really interesting mix. We'll be covering nature, explanation, genius, peer, midnight, occupation by look, previously, and maid.
Wow, that is a mixed bag. From something as grand as nature to a specific time like midnight. And buy and look seem simple, but I have a feeling they're trickier than they appear. This should be fun.
Exactly. They are some of the most versatile words in English. But before we dive into our word by word deep dive, a quick reminder to our listeners.
That's right. If you're enjoying our show, please take a moment to save this episode, give us a like, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our new content. Your support helps us create more and better episodes for you all.
Well said, Frank. Now, let's start with our first word, nature. In its most common sense, nature refers to the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth, as opposed to humans or human creations. In Chinese, we can think of it as 自然 or 大自然.
Right, like when people say they need to get out into nature. But doesn't it also have another meaning related to someone's character?
An excellent point. Nature can also mean the basic or inherent features, character, or qualities of someone or something. In this sense, it's like 本性 or 性质. For example, you could say, it's in his nature to be kind.
I see. So you could say, the destructive nature of the storm was terrifying, referring to its quality. And you could also say, I love spending weekends in nature, referring to the outdoors.
Precisely. Let's make a couple more sentences. Human nature is incredibly complex. The photographer specializes in capturing the beauty of nature.
Got it. It seems like a word with two very distinct but common uses. What's next on our list?
Let's move on to explanation. An explanation is a statement or account that makes something clear. It's the why or how of a situation. The core meaning in Chinese is 解释 or 说明.
Ah, something I often ask you for on this show. So if I don't understand something, I'd say, Frank, can you give me an explanation?
That's it exactly. Or a teacher might say to a student, your essay needs a clearer explanation of your main argument. It's often used with prepositions like for or of. For example, is there a simple explanation for this phenomenon? Or he gave a detailed explanation of the new policy.
So you can have a brief explanation or a detailed explanation. Are there any common phrases with it?
Yes, an explanation is a common one. For instance, she pointed to the broken vase and, in explanation, simply said, the cat.
I like that one. It's a bit more narrative. It makes sense. Ready for the next word?
Our next word is genius. Genius refers to exceptional intellectual or creative power or other natural ability. When we talk about a person, a genius is someone who has this quality. In Chinese, we'd say 天才 or 天赋.
Like Albert Einstein is often called a genius. It feels like a very strong word, not one you use lightly.
That's true. It implies a level of brilliance that is far above average. You can talk about a stroke of genius, which is a single brilliant idea or action. For example, his idea to market the product on social media was a stroke of genius.
So it can be the quality itself or the person. Could you say something like, her genius for music was apparent from a very young age?
Perfect example. That sentence uses geniuses to describe her natural talent. You could also say, he's a certified genius with an IQ of 160. Here, it refers to the person.
It's a powerful compliment. Okay, what's next?
Let's head to the seaside for our next word, pier. A pier is a raised structure including bridge and building supports and walkways, typically supported by widely spread piles or columns, extending from land out over water. In Chinese, it's 码头.
Ah, I love walking on a pier. You get that great view of the ocean. People go fishing off them, or there might be an amusement park on a big one, like in Santa Monica.
Exactly. Piers are often associated with leisure and scenic views. A simple sentence would be, "We took a romantic walk along the pier at sunset," or "The old wooden pier was damaged in the storm."
Is it different from a dock or a wharf? I sometimes get those confused.
That's a common point of confusion. Generally, a pier is more for people to walk on, for recreation. A dock is usually where boats are tied up, and a wharf is typically a larger structure along the shore used for loading and unloading cargo. But in everyday language, people sometimes use them interchangeably.
That explanation helps. So if I'm just strolling, I'm on a pier. Good to know. What time is it in our word list?
It is midnight. Midnight is the middle of the night, or 12 o'clock at night. The Chinese is straightforward, 午夜.
The spooky hour. It's when Cinderella's carriage turns back into a pumpkin.
Haha, exactly. It's a time often associated with mystery or deadlines. For example, the deadline to submit the application is midnight.
Another one is the streets were completely empty at midnight. You can also use the phrase the stroke of midnight, like the fireworks began at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve.
A great example. And we also have the term midnight sun, which refers to the sun being visible at midnight in the polar regions during summer. It's a very specific but fascinating concept.
Right. So midnight marks the end of one day and the beginning of the next. Seems simple enough. Let's keep going.
Next up is occupation. An occupation is a person's job or profession. It's a more formal way of saying job. The Chinese equivalent is 职业.
So on a form where it asks for occupation, I would write podcast host.
You certainly would, or software developer, teacher, doctor. It can also refer to the way you spend your time. For instance, his main occupation these days seems to be gardening.
That's a bit of a subtle difference. So it's not always a paid job?
Correct. It can mean any activity that occupies your time regularly. However, the most common meaning is definitely profession. Here are two examples. Please state your name, age, and occupation. And teaching is a rewarding, though demanding, occupation.
I think I have a good handle on that. What's the next word? I have a feeling it's a tricky one.
You are right. It's by. This little word is a preposition with a huge number of uses. We'll focus on a few key ones. First, it can indicate the agent performing an action, which is what we see in passive sentences. For example, the book was written by a famous author. Here, by tells us who wrote it. In Chinese, this is like 被.
Okay, the passive voice. The cake was eaten by Frank. I get that. What's another one?
It can also mean near or at the side of. For example, there is a small cafe by the river. The Chinese here would be something like 在旁边.
So location. I could say, I left my keys by the door. That makes sense. What else can this powerhouse word do?
It can indicate a deadline. You need to finish this report by Friday. This means on or before Friday. And finally, it can show a method or manner. She travels to work by train.
Whoa. So who, where, when, and how? That's a lot of responsibility for a two-letter word. It was written by Jane. It's by the pier. Finished by midnight. I'll go by car. Got it.
Excellent summary. That's a great way to remember its main functions. And don't forget to support us by telling your friends about the show. A quick reminder to subscribe and hit the bell icon helps us a lot. Now, let's look at our next word.
Nice one, Emma. Look, another word that seems simple, but probably has hidden depths. I'm guessing it's not just about using my eyes.
You're right. As a verb, its basic meaning is to direct one's gaze in a particular direction, but it's famously used in many phrasal verbs. For example, look at means to observe something specific. Look for means to search for something. And look after means to take care of someone or something.
Okay, so look at that beautiful sunset. I'm looking for my glasses, and can you look after my cat this weekend? Those are all really common.
Exactly. Look can also be a noun, referring to the appearance of someone or something, or an act of looking. For example, she gave me a strange look. Or, I don't like the look of those dark clouds. Here it means appearance, similar to 样子 or 身形.
He has a very professional look. I see, it's about the overall appearance. This one is all about context.
Precisely. The surrounding words tell you everything. Let's move on to previously. This is an adverb that means at a previous or earlier time before. The Chinese is 以前 or 先前.
Ah, like at the start of a TV show episode, a voice says, previously on the adventures of Emma and Frank.
Exactly. That's the perfect context. It sets the stage for what happened before. You could also say, the building is now a museum, but it was previously a private residence. Or she was previously employed as a lawyer.
It seems pretty straightforward. It just points to the past. It's a bit more formal than just saying before, right?
Yes, previously often sounds a bit more formal or official, which is why it's common in documents or more formal speech. But it's used in everyday conversation as well.
Got it. Okay, we have one word left for our deep dive.
Our final word is maid. A maid is a female domestic servant. In Chinese, this would be 女仆.
This word feels a little old-fashioned to me. Do people still use it commonly?
It's less common now, especially in Western countries. People are more likely to use terms like housekeeper or cleaner. However, you'll still see it, especially in hotels, where the term maid service refers to the cleaning of rooms. It's also very common in historical novels and movies.
That makes sense. So in a hotel context, the maid will clean your room every morning. Or in a historical story, the lady of the house rang a bell to summon the maid.
Those are perfect examples. It's a word that's good to know, even if its usage in daily life has changed over time. And that completes our word by word analysis.
That was a great list. Now, I believe it's time to see if we can put them all together.
Indeed, we are now moving into our scenario dialogue segment. In this part, Frank and I will have a conversation using all 10 of the words we've just studied. Today's scene is two friends discussing a mystery book one of them just finished.
I'm ready. Let's see how this unfolds.
Hey Frank, you finished that new mystery novel, didn't you? What did you think?
I did. I stayed up until midnight to finish it. I just couldn't put it down. The main character's occupation was a private investigator. A classic choice.
Oh, I like that trope. Was the explanation for the crime any good?
It was genius. Pure genius. Previously, I thought the butler did it, but the final reveal was a total surprise. The investigator's whole theory was a stroke of genius.
Don't spoil it. Where did the climax happen? Somewhere dramatic, I hope?
Of course, the final confrontation happened on an old, rickety pier. The author really captured the look of fear on the villain's face when he was caught.
Ooh, atmospheric. What was the key piece of evidence?
It was a note discovered by the family's maid. She found it hidden in a book about the nature of rare flowers.
A maid. That's a classic twist. So the whole case was solved by her finding that note?
Exactly. By finding that one little note, the entire case came together. It really shows how small details are everything. The nature of the detective's work is truly fascinating.
That sounds like a great read. You've convinced me to pick it up.
And there we have it, all 10 words in one conversation. I thought by and look fitting quite naturally there.
They did. Using by finding that note was a good way to show the method, and the look of fear was a perfect use of the noun form. Now, let's move on to our final segment to really test your skills.
It's time for our Chinese to English practice. I'm going to say a sentence in Chinese that uses some of our words from today. Your job, our dear listeners, is to translate it into English. I'll give you 5 seconds. Ready?
We got
Here's the first one.
根据之前的解释，这位天才的职业要求他在午夜前到达码头. A great sentence to start with. Think about how to structure it in English. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. What are some possible answers, Frank?
Okay, one good answer would be, according to the previous explanation, the genius's occupation required him to arrive at the pier by midnight. You could also say, based on the prior explanation, his job as a genius meant he had to get to the pier before midnight.
Both are excellent. By midnight is the key here, indicating the deadline. Using previous or prior for 之前 works perfectly. Let's do another one.
Here is the second sentence. This one is a bit more descriptive. 女仆对于大自然有种天生的热爱，她脸上总是带着温柔的神情。
That's a lovely sentence. Your 5 seconds start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What have you got for us, Frank?
A good translation would be, the maid had an innate love for nature, and she always had a gentle look on her face. Another option could be, the maid's nature was to love the outdoors. The look on her face was always gentle.
I like that second one, using nature to mean her innate character. And look is used perfectly as a noun in both examples to describe her expression. Ready for the grand finale?
Let's make it a challenge. Here's the last sentence. 他之前的职业是一位需要天才般洞察力的侦探，但他午夜时分总喜欢独自一人待在码头上欣赏大自然。
That's a long one. It combines quite a few of our words. Let's see how our listeners do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's hear the expert translation.
All right, a solid answer is his previous occupation was a detective, which required a genius-like insight, but he liked to be alone on the pier at midnight to enjoy nature. Another great way to say it is, previously he worked as a detective, an occupation that demanded genius, but he loved enjoying nature by himself on the pier at midnight.
Fantastic. Both translations capture the full meaning and use the vocabulary beautifully. That's a great way to wrap up our practice segment. You all did wonderfully.
I hope everyone feels a bit more confident with these 10 words now. So, Emma, what's in store for our next episode? Give us a little tease.
With pleasure. In our next episode, we'll be tackling another 10 words: beat, disease, found, publish, committee, beer, humane, warmth, bay, and ancient.
Ooh, from disease to beer and committee to ancient. Another eclectic list. I can't wait.
Me neither. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us today. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Your support truly means the world to us and helps us keep creating this content.
It certainly does. We had a lot of fun exploring everything from the nature of a genius to what happens on a pier at midnight. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye for now.